Hello, everybody. What's up? We're looking at round 6 of the Tata Steel chess tournament. This game is between Alexander Donchenko with the white pieces and Alireza Firouzja with the black pieces. Game started off d4, d5, c4, e6, knight c3, and bishop b4. So we have a variation of the queen's gambit declined. It's like what can you say, like Rogozin, except the knight is not on developed to f6 yet. All right, so it's definitely a lot of positional opportunities here. Looks like some type of hybrid Nimzo almost. And it seems like it's definitely designed to avoid preparation or to get Donchenko to enter into lines that he might not normally enter into. All right, so it's an odd looking move, but Donchenko plays solid enough and just plays knight f3 here. I do want to take the moment to give a shout out to Justin Lang, who was able to guess the female player in the last video, which was Anna Sherovich. So same thing applies here. If you're the first one to tell me who this player is, the female, I'll shout you out in the next video. And also, if you want me to put some content, on a specific opening or cover a game or a theme, I'll do that for you just for participating in the channel. So back to the game. D takes c4, e3, and b5. So we see this imbalance on the board already. Black has given up his center, all right, for this counterplay on the queen side. And to me, the game starts to have a feel of some lines of the Slav and also like a Bloomfeld gambit, where black will give up his center and then they'll have the free pawns on the queen side. a5, it takes b5, bishop takes c3, b takes c3, and you can see you have these three pawns going down on the queen side. Now, as the game gets closer and closer to the ending, this type of setup becomes more and more dangerous for white, right, and more favorable for black because of the 3-to-1 pawn majority that exists on the A, B, and C files here. So black has a long range, a static advantage, and of course, to compensate for that, white has the center and he has the two bishops. Also notice that white is also ahead in development at this point. So of course the middle game action is going to favor white here, and black must be careful not to get overrun by these central pawns. So of course white is going to try to open up the queen side a bit by playing a move like b3 and just damaging and crippling those pawns on the queen side, because white wants to make sure those pawns are not dangerous by immobilizing them at some point. So b3, bishop b7 takes, and now b4. Of course, it doesn't really make sense to capture the pawn here and just facilitates white's development after bishop takes c4. This is what black wants, so he goes for it. So he has these two passes on the side, and it's up to white to stop them and, like I said, blockade and cripple them, because they will become dangerous. So at this point, black has what he wants, white has what he wants, and with these imbalances, may the best man win. Bishop b2 keeps the bishop on a really strong diagonal. Some points you're going to play, move like d5, for instance, eyeing the g7 square. But at the same time, you're kind of thinking of blockading duties down the road as you have these dangerous pawns on the A and B files. Knight f6, bishop d3, and now both sides continue their development. Knight bd7, knight bd2, and this allows e5, of course, right, moving the knight away from f3. Bishop drops back, and again, white is employing a little bit of offense here mixed with some good prophylactic activity as he's trying to fix those pawns on the queen side. All right. Anytime you have like flank attacks, it is very important to demobilize your opponent's pawns on that particular flank, especially when you have opposite wings attacks. Usually, the player who winds up with the crippled pawns or the immobilized pawns, he usually winds up having the bad game with all other things being equal. So that's basically what White's trying to engineer here. Of course, he's trying to optimize his pieces for an attack on the king side, but he realizes that these pawns can be very dangerous and he has to keep an eye on them. Queen comes to c7, h3, rook e1. Rook e8, bishop to b3, h6. Now the knight swings back to start attacking again in the center. Rook to a6, knight takes, and now the battle begins. And now we can see White starting to push, right, with this pawns on the king side, along with those bishops at b3 and b2, to try to conduct this attack on the king side. Now notice that Black's pawns are also mobilized on the queen side, so it's very difficult for White just to go ahead attacking on the queen side with these dangerous pawns on his side of the board. He tries to do it anyway, f5, and Black always has an answer as a result. Bishop b1 here. Firouzja just simply goes back. He can't play a3 right now. Okay. e6, very strong move here by White. Ali Firouzja really can't afford to capture, play a move like f takes e6 here. So instead he plays f6. Rook f8 will be meant by queen g4, for example. All right, so f6 is almost forced at this point. Instead he throws this move in there. Firouzja does, and Firouzja plays a lot of risky moves. I think this is why he's played spectacular games, but then he also has these weird losses too, because this position is really super imbalanced and murky and difficult. He reminds me of Tao in a way, that he plays tactical and risky, and is very entertaining for the chess fans. All right, but just analyzing the game, it looks like he's doing a lot of stuff that's kind of borderline, almost like bluffing in a way. Like, for instance, doing playing queen g3 with a one move checkmate in mind. And here the bluff actually works, because the best move here for White is just simply queen e2. Right, just simply queen e2. It guards the pawn on e3, gets the queen off the d file, right, and it also protects the c pawn. So queen e2 is just simple move. Instead, he plays this move, rook f2, and it gives Black a chance at some counterplay. Black plays f6. Now he should have played f takes e6 here. Just simply captured the pawn. All right, and Black had his chance. So for instance, f takes e6, queen h5, and then queen g5 would be good. Black plays f6, and the game is dynamically equalized at this point. Bishop d4, knight comes in. Again, to me, that's a questionable move. Do you really want to give up that bishop right there? Why not a move like rook f3, for example? Right, hitting the queen. That brings Black's piece into a great space. And now the rook is left alone to blockade these two pawns. That's That's a bad sign right there. Rook is not really a fantastic blockading piece. C5. And I don't like black's. I don't like white's pieces here. The bishop on d4 is a glorified pawn. The rook on a3 is not being used to its potential at all, and the rook on f2 is terrible. Meanwhile, the rooks on a8 and c8 fantastic. Bishop is well placed in the center and attacking enemy pawns. So we have to give black the nod here. Natural move, just getting the king, out of the field of battle. Queen e2. I'm sorry, d2. And great move. Just over, exploiting the bad nature of the bad placement of the white pieces. That's really the core of this move, right? Pieces being overworked and just bad in general. And when pieces are bad, this is when you could get away with moves like this, right? So what do you play? Bishop b2 or queen b2, right? Your correct move here is just to play bishop b2 and drop the c pawn, all right? And try to reorganize your pieces after that. Maybe play queen d4, right? Bishop b2, rook takes c5, queen d4. Instead, he does this, which when I saw it on the board, I was shocked because, again, you're bringing your queen right into the line of fire. You're handing the initiative like on a silver platter. And of course, Alireza is just going to take it. Rook b8, the queen has to move, and now the rook just comes down to b8. All right, now he's thinking somehow he's going to eventually, win this a pawn, right? But the rook f1, the other rook just comes down with the simple threat of just playing a rook to b2 at some point, right? Because that's going to serve as a blockade sacrifice. Like, so you play rook b2 and then bishop takes b2. The bishop blocks the queen from protecting the g2 square. Therefore, he has to play queen f2. Real simple stuff. Rook f1. The king takes. Now that the other rook comes over, again, compare the pieces on both sides. And the rest right here is just, chop suey right here. Queen comes back. Again, desperately trying to trade queens. And attack on a light square. Now, let me just say one thing. When you have bishops of opposite colors, this favors the attacking side in the middle game, and I'm sure you can see why here. But if not, this is a great example and time for me to explain it to you. The reason why is very simple. The reason why opposite bishops favor the attacking player in the middle game is because since bishops only can operate on one diagonal, there's no way to defend those squares. So you can see the light squares are weak in the white camp. Black has a light square bishop, and all of black's pieces are operating on the light squares. And notice that dark square bishop can't do anything about it. Like I said, the dark square bishop on d4 is nothing more than a glorified pawn at this point. Okay, so basically black is operating with the extra piece while conducting this attack here due to the opposite bishops. All right, now in the end game, it's a different story. Opposite bishops are notoriously drawish, but in the middle game, it favors the attacking play. So that's something that you can, a feather that you can put in your cap is if you're conducting an attack in the middle game, it might, or thinking about starting your attack in the middle game, it might be wise to consider maybe orchestrating a situation where you have opposite bishops, so you can end up in a nice position like this. Queen b4 check. And there's the glorious rook on a3 being attacked and captured. So that rook had a rather ignominious career and ending just being in the corner the whole time, and then being a bad blockading piece, and then just getting just captured. Bishop goes, check, attack just continues, and just queen f1, and that's going to be mate shortly. probably 5-6 moves. So this is why Donchenko resigned. So not like a super good game as far as the quality of play is concerned. A lot of mistakes, but the thing is I want to give Firouzja credit because he created that imbalance in the position. The position was quite murky and unclear, and just right from the opening, it's like he steered it into the style of game that he wanted to play, and he got Donchenko kind of in this deep forest or jungle, if you please, of variations and tactics, and Donchenko just wasn't up to the task. So this is definitely an example of a grandmaster playing the person, or instead of playing just like say like strictly positional chess or playing the best move in the position. All right, he played for a particular style of game and he got it. He wanted this wild, imbalanced game, and he got it on board, and it paid out. So credit to Firouzja for playing a great game. So that's it for this video. Like I said, this was like more of a quick update since the game had just ended. I wanted to get the video out there and just my quick thoughts and analysis before I looked at the game like really deep, whatever. But with that said, again, if you know who this chess player is, let me know. I'll shout you out in the next video. Thank you for listening, and thank you for coming to my channel. Hit the like, subscribe button, and all that good stuff. And also check the links below. I have like DVDs, donation button for those of you that would like to support my channel. That's available down in the links below. But there's usually a lot of books and DVDs that you might want to check out. All right. So with that said, thank you for listening, and I'll see you guys on the next video.